All right, we have a limited edition Woodford Reserve that we have got to try. It is something new from them, something unexpected from them. Let's see what it is next. Welcome back to Pars and Pours. Jim here, and this is the Golf Centric Whiskey channel. If you would, like, subscribe, hit that stuff across the bottom. That way you get notified of all our other releases. Let some folks know we're still trying to grow that subscribership, and every little bit helps. All right, so today is limited edition from Woodford Reserve. We just happened to be down there at the distillery, and it was a distillery release. It has since gone out into the world, but it is a limited edition 125.1 Kentucky Straight Rye. Now these guys aren't known, they're really not known for high proof, or they're really not known for rye. They're known for their bourbon process. And when we found this, we thought, well, certainly we've got to give it a try. We did try it, ended up buying it, and now we're going to let you know about it. So I've opened it up once just to give it a little bit of air. And while we're doing this, we got to talk a little bit about Woodford Reserve. All right. So Woodford Reserve has its history actually in the pepper distillery location. Okay, in 1812, Elijah Pepper actually started the distillery where it's currently at right now on Glens Creek in Woodford County. Okay, in 1835, his son Oscar takes over when Elijah passes. Okay, the big thing that the big thing that Oscar did was he hired James Crow, Dr. Crow, and Dr. Crow is a chemist from Scotland who instituted the sour mash process. Now, also, they like the pot still, but that was what they had back then that day, and they instituted this sour mash. And what that did was it instituted a level of consistency from batch to batch. All right, in 1878, the distillery got purchased by Leopold Labro and James Graham, and they operated it for about another 30 to 35 years. In 41, Brown Forman purchased the distillery, and then in 59, Brown Forman closed the distillery and then turns around and buys it again in 1971. They closed to be more correct, they closed the distillery in 1959 and then sell it later in 1971. In 1994, they ended up buying it back in order to revive it. By this time, we've gone through Prohibition. It's in a dilapidated state, but they've decided that they're going to revive it. In 1996, the Woodford Reserve brand is officially launched by Brown Forman. In 2000, the Woodford Reserve is a historic landmark. And in 2005, it's actually named Woodford Reserve Distillery. Now, if any of you guys have been there, it is a 3-pot still design. There's 2 lanes that goes off both sides, and they still have the facility there, and they call the big place the Pepper Building, or the Pepper House. And they're always collecting, trying to keep the landmark going and whatnot. And a lot of the facility that they use is some of the original facility. If you haven't taken a tour and you get a chance to go down there, it is really a nice tour, full of history. The property is very, very well kept. It is certainly something to go see, something very, very nice. Okay, now we're talking 2005 to now. Woodford has really become something of an iconic distillery. It uses pot stilling instead of column stilling, and they do a triple distill when they do that. And normally their stuff is low proof. It's in that 90 to 100 proof range. And when they see something that comes out barrel strength, it's really kind of different. And that's what this is. So this is a 53% rye. It is a 33% corn, and the rest is malted barley. Okay, so you've seen some of the notes out there and whatnot. This has made it into a lot of people's rye of the year. Based on my first taste of this, I wouldn't disagree. However, this would be one of the first non-95.5 ryes that I may come to like. We're going to find out right now. So again, if you get a chance, the only other problem here is that this is a 700 mil versus a 750 mil. I don't know why they decided that. It must have something to do with going over to Asia, Europe area where 700 is the common number. It's a very fine bottle to be sure. It's got the big monster neck. They could have opened up the neck area and gained another 50 mils, I'm sure, to be easy, but it is what it is. Okay, so on the nose, when you first nose it, you get I get about a fruity punch, a light fruity punch. You know, kind of that apple, pear, that kind of light. I'm not going to call it either one, but we'll call it a light fruity punch. I get a sweetness to it that is, for me, uncharacteristic of something that is a rye corn mixture. Although it's supposed to, I normally don't get that. I normally get a heavy grain. But in this case, again, you get the fruity punch, not fruit punch, but a fruity punch, and you get the sweetness, kind of a brown sugar, and then at the very end, you get the grain note. You get that, and it is a rye grain note, and rye grain comes with its peppery, kind of spicy kind of note, but it's not overpowering. So it does have layers, and that's what we really want to see, right? It's got depth of nose, very well done. And you know, the funny part is, as far as Woodford goes, you know, the double oak is the king for them. That's their flagship model, and I don't think I've ever tasted it other than in a flight at Woodford. So this is going to be unique for me. So salute. For 125, this drink's a lot easier. When you get hit with it, you get hit with those fruity notes. There's almost like a fruit cocktail type note. You get hit with the sugary piece of it right after it, and then into the middle, towards the end, it's almost like 4 pieces of the palate this time around. And towards the end, you go from the fruity, sweeter, grainy, peppery, and then you get a finish that I would call a medium long finish. It sits there just like it's supposed to. It's not killer, it's not overpowering, but it is long lasting. Not bad for a first sip of the day. Let's see what we can do. We're gonna kind of coat the glass, give it a little bit of a chance here, and see if it changes on us. Nope, more of that same brown sugary note. The grain is in the background. Same. It didn't evolve, so that's a good thing. After I said that, I don't know if necessarily that's a good thing or not. It could evolve into something awesome, but what it was a very fine nosing to begin with, and the palate is just really nice. You still get that easygoing first into the middle, first palate into the middle. It's not obtrusive at all. It's very, just like we talked about, it has a sweeter component, a fruity type component, and then you get into the second sip, we start getting into this bit of an oily texture, and then it ends with the grain and the spice. Honestly, this is pretty doggone good. Woodford, you might want to consider doing a little bit more high proofer stuff anyway. That just does really well. The finish is still there with me, and it's not changed a little bit. And I've written down a bunch of my stuff already, and what we're going to do, as I've been doing in the last ones, we're going to see what one little drop does for it. We're going to just see. Now, honestly, this thing is good as it is. Why I would add water is nothing more than I've done it in the past just to check. But this thing stands on its own, and I'd agree with most folks that this could be a Rye of the Year type entry. It made it a little bit lighter, just that one drop of water. You get just a little bit of the proof at the end in the nose. Nope, if nothing else, you get more of it brought the rye forward versus pushing it to the back. You got the initial nosing, but the rye started creeping from the back of the palate to the mid palate, and you got to see some of it. So I don't think that necessarily, I just put a ball of ice in it and go if you're wanting to put it in a bigger glass and go from there. But this thing is it just noses really well. It drinks very, very well. It's drinking below its weight class, which is fine by me. I don't need to have this long-lasting, oh my God, when is it going to go away finish, forever. It's just sitting there, and it's just a really, really good pour. Just a really good pour. So if you get to see it when it's out there, it is Woodford Reserve Barrel Strength Limited Edition 125.1 Straight Kentucky Rye in a 700 milliliter bottle. It is 53, 33, and 14, and it's got a place on the shelf for me. This is I'm getting introduced to Woodford. Hopefully some of you guys are too. You like the double oak? If you do, tell me, do you like the double oak? And if you had a rye from Woodford before, this would be my first one, and I got to say, I'm impressed. Man, very nice. Yeah, you could sit here and drink it just among friends for hours. Very, very well done. All right, so if there's something else that you'd like to see on here, please put it down in the show notes. Put some comments in there and let me know what you think. Also, if you get a chance, I mean, Woodford does ship out, but they don't ship out to all the 50 states. So if you get online, you might want to see that. And the distribution of this is very limited. So you might have to go online unless you can get to the distillery. We just happened upon this when we were doing the visit. So lucky us, right? All right. So again, thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. And as always, let's see you save those pars, but share the pours.